Hi, this is Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. A little bit early Friday video, Friday, November 20th, 2020. And I wanted to make a video just on this kind of related topic that I had to deal with this morning, which is related to Pandora Premium, Songdex, Music Reports, and why musicians should know a little bit about Excel. So let's get started. I'll probably do a video here later in the day. And yesterday's video, sorry I didn't have the microphone hooked up, so the audio wasn't as good, but should be pretty good here. I've got my little indicator down here that my blue light indicating that all's a go. So let's get started here. So let's go out to, okay, so I was going to focus this morning on the eBay art store and get some things taken care of with regard to that. But that's going to be pushed off till this afternoon. But this morning I got a calendar notification that it had been 1 month since I had contacted SoundDrop, which is one of the music distributors that I use. And they were going to re-upload some tracks of mine, field recordings, that I had discovered in the Pandora Premium Echo Sphere, I guess, the world of Pandora Premium, that they did not have premium access available. So if you're a premium customer of Pandora, you cannot access those tracks. And I got a lot of tracks everywhere. I now have over 2,100 titles registered, and my attitude is always like it's good to be everywhere. Don't restrict if you can. Just don't restrict. Be everywhere. You never know, right? I make money off of TikTok, which is just impossible to believe. I actually make a tiny bit of money from TikTok. And I also make a tiny bit of money from something called Midwest Tape, which is related to Hoopla, which is in the libraries. Apparently, my music or sounds or something is distributed through Hoopla on library systems around the U.S. Now, the library that I am affiliated with doesn't do that. They do Canopy, which is like a music service, and then Overdrive, I think, is the other one. And I don't have anything in that, and so I've been trying to look in. Well, does anybody have access to Hoopla? And perhaps maybe they could take a look and see if some of Rushton's titles are out there. But that actually does okay. That does the nice little chunk every month. I would call that wine money, even though I don't really drink much anymore at all, hardly. But I would call that wine money. There's like different. I always have like different sets of figures as far as making money, as far as music is concerned. There's nothing, right? You're not making anything, and then there's babkas, which of course is Yiddish for beans, hardly anything. Then the next phase is what I would call wine money. You make enough money to buy my wife a bottle of wine. That'd be nice. And then after that, it's gear money. And then really nice gear money. And then after that, it's what is it after gear money? I'm trying to remember. It's eventually you get to quit your job money. And then there's the because I run a clean show here. It's the naughty word money phrase. So there's several steps along the way. And anyway, Midwest Tape makes me wine money. And that's that, right? I don't even know if I selected that or whatever, but that became part of it. So that's why you want to be, as a musician, particularly an independent musician, that's why you want to be everywhere. So that's when I dug into Pandora, particularly Pandora Premium, and what I'm doing to kind of promote my efforts in there. I discovered that a certain number of tracks, I believe it's about 90, did not have premium access. So Pandora, let's back up here a second here. Let's back up and let's bring up the bigger screen here. And this is why you should not dismiss Pandora. Yeah, they're on kind of a downhill slide, but 58 million monthly active users, and that's just the United States. They don't even They're not even in any other countries anymore. They used to be in New Zealand. I think they used to be, I think it was Australia. And they cut that off a couple years ago. I'm not quite sure when. It might have been when SiriusXM bought them. I'm not quite sure. But as you can see here in this article over here, February 1st, 2019, Pandora was acquired by SiriusXM Holdings. And ever since then, they're always a pretty good service. But ever since then, SiriusXM has really, well, I would say that Pandora has done a variety of different things to really help out artists, particularly independent artists. And I've known about them, but I haven't really had time to explore that. It's a little bit complicated because they have a lot of different things. They have Pandora Amp, which is the artist music promotion service. And then they also had acquired Next Big Sound, which provides analytical data reporting stuff. And I tend to geek out and get lost in that. So having all that sort of, and then Pandora has 3 different levels. You've got Pandora Radio, and then you've got like the free ad supported version. Then you've got the paid version. And then they have their on-demand streaming service, which I'll say it's like Spotify. It's an on-demand streaming service. And then there's little things based on that, like you can go in and watch an ad and have premium access for a certain period of time. So that's good. That's good. They're trying. They're trying. They're huge. I mean, this goes back, like 10 years ago. Pandora just owned the online radio market for the most part, and chip away at it. But this 58 million active monthly users, that's a substantial market. That's huge, and for, musicians, I don't know. I tend to think a lot of musicians are kind of lazy on the promotion side. And they're like, I don't use Pandora. What do I care, right? What do they pay? What do they pay per stream? I'm not going to, So I don't even care about other musicians. I just mentioned that. Just because Pandora is something you should not ignore. And I ignored it for too long. So now I'm paying attention and I'm doing some things. I'm getting traction. Things are kind of working out. So I got into the Pandora world and discovered, I had about 90 tracks that did not have premium access. And so I kind of dug into it and researched it. And I found an email from, when was this? June 4th, 2019. So it was after the merger. And it talked about how in Pandora Amp, you as an artist, if you have access in Amp, you can go to your catalog tab, and it provides a central location for viewing all your content currently live in Pandora. It says here, and let me make this a little bit bigger. So it says, from this page, you can view a comprehensive list of your catalog at the track level through an integration with MRI Songdex and easily resolve any publishing blocks, preventing your music from being available to listeners on all 3 tiers of Pandora's service. And so if you don't know what that means, if you don't have an AMP account and you don't know what any of that MRI, what is it? What Songdex? What is that? It just passes over my head. It's like you're talking in a completely different language. And I think for a lot of musicians, that is talking in a completely different language, because we're all concerned. Spotify's huge. Apple Music is big. You've got YouTube Music out there. You've got all these other different services worldwide, and everybody's got their own little way that they handle stuff. Let's get rid of this here. Hold on. Let's get rid of this. And so it's a lot to know. It's a lot to take in. That's why a lot of musicians are just like, let somebody else handle it. I don't want to deal with it, right? I think that's true across a lot of things, not just musicians, not just artists in general. People are just like, I can't deal with it. It's too much. I'd rather watch the split screens every night and complain about stuff on social media. No, you should be in here figuring this out. This is especially when it relates to your catalog. You absolutely should pay attention to all this stuff. It's hard. It's not easy. My God. So I found this, and it was like, this was a key. And then I had talked to some people at Pandora, and I said, listen, I've got some tracks in there that are like don't have premium access. What do I do? And they're like, you got to get your tracks into Songdex. What is Songdex? Songdex is affiliated with Music Reports, and Music Reports is one of the services that U.S. companies, some U.S. companies pay mechanical royalties to. And that would include Amazon Music Unlimited pays to Music Reports, Midwest Tape, TikTok, I think Deezer, I think Tidal. There's some others. And I'm not sure if that's going away once the MLC, the Music License Collective, comes online or not. But that's another discussion. We'll find that out here after the first of the year. So I got out there and I was like, okay, I'm not signed up with Songdex. Okay. But first of all, I took the easy way out. I was talking with somebody at one of my distributors and Sounddrop, and they were great. And they said, hey, why don't we just try to resubmit your tracks again and see if that solves it? I said, that's fine. She's like, well, give us a month. And if nothing changes, then try the other way of going through Songdex. And so that's what the alert was about. The alert was about check Pandora Premium, see if the issue has been resolved for that one album. It did not resolve. So I resigned myself to sign up for Songdex. I already have a Music Reports account, and then I had to sign up separately for Songdex. And then I got in here. And it's like, what do I do? And well, you go into registry. And let's see if this will. Is it working? Is their site working today? That's a whole nother argument that I have here. Oh my God. Okay. What are we doing there? That's not the page I wanted. That's not what I liked. Okay. I don't know what happened there. So I got in here and I thought, well, I better do a bulk because I know there's at least 90 tracks out there that are, and it's across two different distributors. It has nothing to do with the music distributor that I chose to release the track on. And it wasn't a specific period of time. One was in 2019 and one was a whole bunch of tracks around 2017. And it was really weird because it would be like full albums, and then it'd be like one song on one album or two tracks on this EP or something. It was weird. It didn't make any sense. And it's not like I don't think I screwed up to that level. I could be wrong. So I got in here and did the registry and then went over to bulk, and I'm using Firefox here. And for some reason, it's got a broken image here. The bulk submission process, at least they provide the template. This is the template that I used to use for Music Reports. I don't have to use that anymore because I am affiliated with Songtrust. And Songtrust handles that submission process automatically now. Actually, I back that up there. Does it handle that? Does it handle the rights? We're getting into the minutia here. Anyway, it's nice that they provide a template, but it's a significant template. There's a lot of fields in there, and some of the fields you don't fill out. You don't necessarily have to fill out. I'm not going to show you the template or anything like that. So anyway, I filled it out. I went through. I spent a couple hours getting the ISRC codes from the distributors, putting the titles in, and then of course dragging and doing everything that you need to do in Excel. I made the file and chose to drag it. Choose a file or drag it here. First, I dragged it over, click submit. Nothing worked. Then I got out. Turned out it was like the session had timed out, logged back in, chose the file, hit submit. Nothing worked. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's the browser because I got a broken image here. Logged into Chrome, chose the file, hit submit, nothing worked. That's how my morning's going. That's why I'm making a video now. My God. And of course, if you look out here on the Songdex page, my gosh, no contact information, no help, no nothing. This is the whole page here. And if you go up here, my account, log out, there's nothing. So I had to log out, go over to Music Reports, because they're all kind of the same company, and hit the contact information, filled out the form, click submit on the form. Nothing happened. And so I'm just like, ah, dear God, really? Really? And then I tried to call them, and I was, it was I guess it was about 10 o'clock my time. I'm Central Time. I'm just like, they might not be. Called them up. Yeah, 8:30 to whatever time, Pacific time, because I saw there was an 818 area code. I'm like, they're Pacific time. So didn't leave a message. And anyway, I found an email address, and so I sent that, and I sent the file that way. I'm going to give them a call here soon, but it's just like, why doesn't any of this work? Your bulk submission section does not work in two different browsers. Your contact form, first of all, you don't have a contact form on Songdex. What's the matter with you? Or you don't have an email in case of a problem. You go out to Music Reports, and yeah, the contact doesn't work. Who knows if anybody got the email? You're not open till 10:30 Central Time. That would be 11:30 Eastern. Really? And you wonder why everybody just kind of gives up, right? So that's where I am. That's where I am in the process. I know it'll get resolved. It'll get resolved. It will. But it's just like, what? It's just a cascading number of errors here, problems. And especially when it comes to technology, it's the worst. And so I say in closing here that in addition to this, musicians need to know at least certain things about Excel too. They need to know how to just do basic stuff in Excel. And I think a lot of people don't know that. And I'm not gonna teach you. I'm not gonna have a little course or anything like that. I mean, but you should know how to load up a TSV file. What's a TSV file, right? It's not like you can just click on it and have it come up like an XLS or XLSX or CSV. Have it just show up there. You need to know what happens to some data when you click a CSV and you open up an Excel, because Excel will change the data based on the way that the data looks. TSVs, yeah. TSVs you have to import, and then there's a process. Once you've done it a couple of times, it's pretty easy, but I mean, that's how DistroKid submits, issues their reports. They issue their reports in CSV. Other companies issue them as Excel files. Other companies, I don't even know what, they have some online, it's terrible. The reporting on these different industries, some of it's okay, as long as it's in Excel, either an XLS, XLSX, CSV, TSV, whatever, I can manage. But I would think, but as somebody who works, in IT for the last 25, 26 years, yeah, I'm going to know that sort of stuff. But the average musician, they may not know that. And so I think, like taking some sort of online course, basic information. And then, of course, when you get your reports, your data, like on a monthly basis or however, you get your royalty reports, you got to know how to dig in there. You got to look in the data, and you got to know how to filter it, right? Do you know how to filter data in an Excel file and just, figure it out? And, like I got 2,100 titles in my catalog, and I've got all these, I'm on every system, and it's just, you should just huge numbers. I can't even imagine what it's like for popular musicians. It's crazy. The reports, they got to be nuts. So you musicians need to know a little bit about Excel. Definitely getting, I mean, I knew enough about Excel. I'm not a big super pro user. I'm not creating macros and stuff like that, but just basic loading up files and filtering the data. That's what you need to know. And just even how to speed things up when you're filling out like this template here, because otherwise you're just all day you're typing. So this is what I had to deal with this morning, and I thought, well, I'll make a little video. It probably will affect absolutely nobody. I'm just venting, and yeah, I got to get on the horn to Songdex, and hopefully once they get this in and get processed, then those tracks will be available for listeners on Pandora Premium. They will be available for them, and I'll be able to put them into playlists, and people will be able to, premium users will be able to see them, because the reason what you want to be in Pandora Premium, because that pays the most. That pays like twice. It pays like double or even more than what the ad-supported radio pays. So, if you've got a lot of titles, or you have titles that you think may do well in a playlist, or may get into a station of some kind, yeah, you want to have it available. You want to be everywhere. And so that's sort of my that's my credo. That's my operating phrase. That's the way I approach everything. Yeah, you should be everywhere, because you never know. You never know where that next fan may be. So, all right, that's it for the morning. I'm gonna try to shift gears. I'm gonna try and get into art mode, painting mode. Not necessarily painting, but creating music and creating art here. Anyway, that's it for me, and